Hey everybody. Hello and thank you for stopping by the Stuff I Heard podcast. This is your host, Joshua Peak. Hi. We are back in regular settings, regular format, regularly scheduled program. Let me turn my ringer off on my phone so this doesn't go off while I'm doing this. I just wanted to comment a little bit about the fact that we are back from vacation. And I was trying to keep active with my YouTube stuff. If you follow me on YouTube, it is my name, Joshua Peak. You can follow along with some videos that we've posted. I try to keep one going, at least one a day, so I don't lose track of the things that we did. We found in the past that if we just record a bunch of stuff and try and make videos, we lose stuff. When I say we, I mean my wife is actually kind of helping me a little bit. She's like, hey, why don't you do this? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we've been putting up a video every day, and I even went through the cycle of trying to post a podcast. Here's the problem though. When you're staying on their properties, on Disney properties, they have decent Wi-Fi if you're on your computer checking Facebook or on your phone, like posting Instagram photos and that kind of stuff. It is not really meant for uploading YouTube videos. YouTube videos take a lot of bandwidth, especially if you do a long one. So the average videos I was putting up a night was between 5 and 10 minutes. That would take 4 or 5 hours to post. So you can imagine that a 30-minute YouTube video is going to take even longer to post. I think I recorded one and tried to get it posted, and I started like 3:30. As you're going through the process, your computer at some point times out. If you've got like your settings to where it says, hey, nobody's touched me in a long time, so it shuts down, like the automatic shutdown function. I haven't tweaked it just because at times I'm absent-minded and I don't want to burn up the screen, and I don't want it to wear down the battery with the thing just being open. So I do have that function on there, although it will stay running in the background with like a screensaver on it for an hour or two. And what's happened was I would go to post the video, we would go off and we would do things, and we would come back and it's kicked itself offline, because it's like shut down the screen, so then it shut down all the temporary things. I've learned that if I have it plugged in, it lasts a little bit longer. I don't exactly know why, but if it's not plugged in, it has like I guess the battery saver thing is a little more active. Anyway, so I kept having to go back on there and restart it and, you know, keep it going. And it did take a while, but I'm hoping that some people got to watch it because it was decent. You know, I went through a lot of effort. But that being aside, we got that done. We got videos posted. I even did a room video to kind of show off the room. I know some people are like, Josh, why are you doing a room video? Amazingly enough, people watch those and comment on them a lot because they're looking at taking a vacation and they want to know what the room they're going to stay in looks like. We've done that in the past especially with like cruise ship stuff. Anytime we've ever taken a cruise, if we go to book a room, it's kind of interesting to go and click on a video and see what somebody else has posted the video to look like. Because oftentimes, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if it's going to have enough room for your suitcases or enough room for your hanging clothes or, you know, whatever. You don't know if the bed's going to be big enough or if there's going to be like a double bed situation or 2 queens or a king or what. So, you know, it's kind of interesting to watch those. I've watched them in the past of people doing some, and I gotta admit that there are a lot of videos that you watch and you go, hey, I could do a better job. And I'm sure I've made videos like that some of you have watched and you thought, I could do a better job. Well, then absolutely, do a better job. Get your phone out. You don't have to have any fancy equipment. I just happen to collect this stuff as time has gone on. If you'll go back to the beginning of my videos, for like years, all I did was have my iPhone 4, back when they made the 4, just the basic 4, and I would hit record and go, okay, so actually I talked like that back then. It was like a weird speech impediment, but I've worked through it, and so can you. Just kidding. So anyway, yeah, just do it. Like if you feel like you were watching a video and you like, I think I could do a better job, then try it out. See what you can do. You never know. You never know what's going to happen until you try it out. So, all we have to fear is fear itself. Isn't that the saying? I do want to talk a little bit about the rest of our trip. So, while we were on vacation, I think we were in line for a ride, and my wife gives me this look in her eye like something awful has happened. And I'm like, what? And she takes a big deep breath and she says, well, our oldest son has stopped by the house and apparently our fridge is dead. I was like, excuse me? She said, yep, our fridge is not blowing out cold air, it's just blowing out hot air, which is not good. And so there's a way on our fridge to touch the dials just right so that the temperature comes up on the thing to tell you what the temperature is. And it was way out of range. And it's about 11 years old. Not super excited about that. We lost everything in the fridge. Thankfully he was home and he was able to throw away a lot of that stuff so that we didn't have to come home to it still in there. That was helpful. But we lost all the food. So, you know, kind of a bummer there. Plus, we're kind of without a fridge right now. Now, here is a good thing, okay? So, we're on vacation and we lost the food. He's gonna throw it out. He says it smells, and it did. Even when we came home, it still smelled, even though he tried to clean up and tried to use Clorox wipes and Lysol and all that other stuff. We are lucky in the fact that we had like an old junky refrigerator that I had bought from somebody years ago in the garage. And that's kind of being used right now as our fridge. We just put stuff out in the garage. It's a tiny little refrigerator. It was never meant to do what we're making it do right now. Our normal fridge, I think, is 25. I think we looked at it, it was 25 square feet. We'll try 25 cubic feet. The one in the garage is probably 19. Yeah. It's a lot less space. It's a lot older. It's definitely not meant to be used in the wintertime, in the summertime for any of what we're doing. But we're in October here, and in South Carolina, the temperature is a bit coldish. So it's not so bad. Oh, we're in November. My wife's giving me all kind of notes around the corner. If you hear somebody whispering, that's just a ghost. I mean, my wife. So anyway, we're in November now. Yeah, because today's November 3rd. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I do that little date thing. I don't know why. I'm getting all sidetracked. Stop interrupting me, woman. So anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, so the fridge died. So anyway, I'll take you back to being on vacation. So we're dreading the whole process of having to come home and having to deal with the fridge and having to deal with buying a new one. And, you know, thankfully we were coming back on a Saturday and I didn't have to be back at work until Monday. But around that same time, I get a text from work saying, hey, we need you to work. You got to work out of town. So it means you got to come in, or I got to go in Sunday and head out of town to work a couple days to come back later. So that cuts a day out of the whole scenario. So that means everything's got to get done Saturday. We're leaving Saturday, so my wife's like, all right, what time do you want to leave Saturday? And I was like, the earlier the better. I mean, we're 7 hours away, and the faster I can get on the road, the faster I can get through Orlando and Jacksonville and then Savannah and all that traffic. And so I'm an early person, she's not an early person. But we plan accordingly because we're used to it. We've been married now almost 14 years. We kind of get used to each other. And we just continue to enjoy our day. We said, we're not going to let this kind of defeat us. We're going to enjoy our time here. We're going to enjoy riding some of these rides and having a good time. And that must have been, what, Wednesday that we found out all that was going on? We were at the water park? Was Wednesday the water park?
No.
I don't know.
Monday was the water park. I think it was Tuesday when we were at Disney Hollywood Studios.
Tuesday when we were at Disney Hollywood Studios. Because I was...
Melrose's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we were having dinner at Mama Melrose's. Okay. That was the day I rode the Tower of Terror. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. If you haven't, I rode the Tower of Terror for the first time at 44 years old because I'm a scaredy cat. But I rode it. Anyway, so we found out that night. All right. So Wednesday, I think we had plans to go to Animal Kingdom. Is that right?
What day?
On Wednesday? Okay, so we went to the Animal Kingdom, and I think I talked about that on a previous podcast where we went to ride Everest, and we rode it 3 times in a row in that single car line. And then Thursday, we really didn't have anything planned except for dinner. Our dinner, we were supposed to go to the top of the Contemporary Resort and eat dinner at the California Grill, which is a really nice dinner. If you don't know anything about Disney, here's the layout, okay? They have 3 resorts that the monorail runs through, only 3, and they don't have plans on expanding because it's such a logistics nightmare of doing even what they're doing now. But they have the monorail going through 3 resorts: the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian. Now, we have stayed in the past at the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, and they're beautiful. But we've never stayed at the Contemporary, and I'm not exactly sure why. We just haven't. So this location of where it's at is very near the Magic Kingdom. Matter of fact,
Walking distance.
you are walking distance from the front gates, and you are very near Space Mountain. Now, someone with a really good arm could probably throw a baseball and hit Space Mountain. I don't have that good of an arm for throwing. My brother could. My brother could probably nail the castle with a baseball if he tried really hard. Of course, I think a lot of his ability. But, anywho, it was a great location to see fireworks at night. Part of the package deal was you get to eat dinner. It counts as 2 of your table meals, but you get to eat dinner at this really nice restaurant, and then they have an observatory where you can see the fireworks from there, and you're on like an observation deck, and it was great. We did that. During the day, we didn't really do much. We enjoyed our passport thing that we had for Epcot, and we walked around the lake in different directions. We'd gone one way one day and another way another day, and we decided to hit the countries we missed on the other days and the kiosks that we missed. And we had this little booklet. They called it the passport booklet that you flip through, and you put little stickers and notes by the things that you liked and the things that you went to, because basically you didn't want to miss anything, and if you kept up with it, you would have it. My assistant is bringing me the thing now. Look, it says food and wine, and it's got ratatouille on it. And my wife went through and she made notes of everywhere we went and what we done, and it has little stickers that you put in there. Anyway, so we did that, and we ate around the world, basically. We got to see some pretty cool Canadian, I don't know what you'd call them, Canadian rockers, Canadian folk rockers. They were, it was like a mixture of, I don't know, it was bagpipes, there was a banjo, there was a flute, or not a flute, but like a flute he played this way. I don't know what you call that, a piccolo, maybe? Stand-up bass. They had some Cajun music mixed in. They even talked about, hey, this is some Cajun hits we like, and then they jammed. It was really fun. Kids were dancing, old people were dancing. This one lady was, you know, in her little scooter cart moving back and forth. She was getting down. But we enjoyed it. And then we went by England. They had a Beatles cover band playing Beatles songs, and it was all right. Not just Beatles, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so we ate around the world. We were able to ride there's a ride in Norway, the little country kiosk thing of Norway that's themed off of the Frozen movie. It used to be like a Viking themed ride, and they just kind of retrofitted it. It's good. It's good. You're going to get wet if you ride it. It's a boat ride. And there is like a waterfall where you get wet. Not like a tremendous water. You know what I mean. It's just a, you know, and water splashes over you. How'd that go? Oh, hey. Anyhow, we rode that. We had a good time. We've never been able to ride it before because you need a fast pass to ride it, because it's the only ride in those countries and people are lined up wanting to ride it. And it's Frozen theme, which is the big hit of the kids nowadays. So anyway, we rode it. It was great. Had fun. Got to eat. At a certain point, we took a break. We went back to the room, rested, and then got ready for dinner. Went to our dinner at the nice restaurant. Got to watch fireworks from on top of the observatory, which is really cool, on top of the Contemporary Resort. Really, really cool. I drove this time more than normal. we normally take the public transportation there that they provide everywhere. But we had some time constraints this time because of where we were at. For some reason the buses were slow. I don't know if they're missing bus drivers or they're missing out on the fact that they need some faster transportation from the Beach Club Resort. They just seemed like we were waiting forever for something to happen, and it wasn't due to construction. In the past it's been due to construction, but this time it just seems like they didn't have enough people. And so, we were kind of in a hurry of, we got to make dinner by this time. If we don't drive, we may not make it. So I drove. And I will say that driving there is not completely terrible. Most everything was in a 10-minute drive away. The only difficult part of it all was when I searched for the Polynesian Resort for breakfast one morning. I typed in Polynesian, and the first thing that came up I clicked, and apparently I clicked on something that wasn't Disney related at all. And when we started leaving the Disney property, my wife goes, "Wait, where are you going? It's over there." And I was like, "Er." And I pulled over, and we had to make an interesting maneuver to get back to where we were supposed to be. Similar name. So that was user error more than it was anything else. But we enjoyed the fireworks. Come Friday, where it was our big Magic Kingdom day, we had nothing planned for that morning. Matter of fact, we had actually planned to sleep in because of the fireworks and because we knew we were going to be going hard at it all week. We kind of scheduled to sleep in on Friday. So we did. We slept in, took our time getting up. We strolled into the Magic Kingdom. We got to ride some rides. We had some fast passes to do. The weather was moving in, and it was going to rain on us, and we knew it was going to rain on us, and it was going to be cold rain. Bless you. My wife just sneezed around the corner. Anyway, podcast gold, baby. That's what you paid for. Free content, baby. Anyway, so the rain was moving in. We knew it was going to hit us, and at a certain point, we were like, all right, we're obviously not going to be able to see the fireworks tonight because we got to leave early in the morning, and we did see the fireworks last night from the top of the observatory, and that's just, it's got to be what it's got to be. I mean, there's no sense in us standing out here in the cold and the wet, and we got to pack, and we've got too much going on. And we'd already seen them the night before. I mean, it wasn't like it was going to make that big of a difference to stand in front of it in the crowd versus watching it from on top of the thing. You get what I'm saying. Woman, if you're going to be part of this podcast, get a microphone. I got the microphone. So, we rode all of the mountains. We rode the Space Mountain and we didn't ride Splash Mountain. We rode Space Mountain. We rode Big Thunder Railroad. We rode the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train twice. All with fast passes. Matter of fact, we even stood in line and rode Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because we got there earlier than the fast pass. We rode it, and then when we got off, it was the right time for us to get back on it and ride it again. Both times we rode it in the rain, but we got it out of the way. We got to enjoy it, and it was fun to ride it twice in a row, even in the rain. But we were kind of hungry. My wife was like, you know what? We've been off this keto train for a while here. We've been kind of eating bread here and there and rice a little bit and potatoes a little bit. And she was like, I want a sandwich. I want a sandwich. She kind of made a declaration. I want a sandwich. And I was like, okay, calm down. So, in the past, whenever we've come to Disney, we found a place at Disney Springs called Earl of Sandwich. Now, I don't know if Earl of Sandwich was the actual Earl that created the sandwich or if it was the Duke of Earl. Wait, no, that's not the same thing. Anyway, so there's a chain called Earl of Sandwich, and we eat at it at a few places. They have one in D.C., they have one in Las Vegas. I'm sure they've got them pretty much everywhere. It's a chain.
No, a lot of places have them.
Woman? So anyway, we were like, this time we literally on our plans of going to Disney Springs decided not to eat there because of our keto diet and staying away from breads and stuff like that. But here we are, last day of the vacation. We're thinking, all right, even Jesus had a Last Supper. Let's indulge a little bit and enjoy a nice sandwich from Earl of Sandwich. They hand make their bread and everything. I mean, come on. Problem is, it's in downtown Disney Springs area, and we're at the Magic Kingdom, and it's cold, and we didn't dress for rain. So, we had to get a bus to take back to our resort, go to our room, get changed, and then drive to Disney Springs, which, you know, put us eating late. Well, I'm not a fan of eating late, but we ate pretty late, which means we didn't get back to our room till later, and then we had to pack. So you can imagine the chaos that we were doing, getting all this stuff done and trying to remember everything. And I've been posting videos all on the way and just didn't post that night. I didn't post nothing. Sorry. Free content. What are you going to do? But hey, I got some stuff recorded. I got some photos. I got some videos. I'm going to put them together to make some more videos. And I'm going to do this. I've stayed with the podcast, which is weird. I did not think I was going to be able to stick with the podcast during this trip. I thought for sure this would be the week. If any week was out there that I was going to miss it, it was going to be this week. But I've stayed with it. 2 a week. Who'd have thought? I dare any of you to do it. I dare any of you to do it. Action over intent. Isn't that what Casey Neistat says? Action over intent. It is 100% easier to do nothing than it is to do anything. I have a hair on my lens. There. Is that better? I had to blow a hair off my camera lens. By the way, if you didn't know, if you're just listening to the audio portion of this, I have a video portion, and if you're not watching the video portion of it, you're missing out on some gold content just like that. But anyway, so on our trip, I'd be lying if I didn't say that we were concerned about our diet. We were concerned about eating healthy, and the times that we went off of our keto plan is the times where we felt worse, and we felt sluggish, and we felt swelled. I mean, there were times where my ring was so tight I could not move it around on my finger. My hands were so puffy. My wife even made a joke about how her toes were so puffy she couldn't even walk. She couldn't even fit them in her shoes. But you know, there's no doubt about the fact that this diet that we're on, it's not just a diet. It's changed our lifestyle. It's changed the way we feel. It's changed the way we eat. It's changed the way we look at food. And we were happy to come home tonight, even with a busted fridge and having to go out and buy another fridge, which we did, by the way. We went to Lowe's and picked out one. That's a stressful thing to do. I think we were in there for 3 hours trying to pick out one. But we've got one ordered. I will say this. Let me slide this in here, okay? I have a friend that I grew up with who is a service technician. He owns his own service business here in Florence, South Carolina, Elite Appliances. His name is Jerry Jolly. Jerry, big shout out. I don't know if you probably don't listen to this. Anyway, if anybody knows Jerry, tell him I'm giving him a big shout out on my international podcast here that at least tens of people are listening to. Anyway, Jerry was kind enough to reach out to me on Facebook and say, hey, you know, what's wrong with, you know, because I posted something on Facebook about my fridge being broke, and he's like, hey, what's wrong? I fix fridges. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, here's my business. I was like, holy crap. 20 plus years of doing business. I said, yeah, you know, here's what's happening. And he goes, all right, listen, most fridges don't make it as long as yours did. Nowadays, they just don't. He said, you're better off to cut your losses and go ahead and get another one. I asked him about the smell. He's like, the smell won't leave. It'll be very hard to clean the smell out. He's like, even if we could fix it, though, it's not going to be worth what it would cost to fix it, because after I fix it, something else is going to break. That's just the nature of how they're made nowadays. And I was like, okay. He said, I will give you a recommendation, though. He said, do not buy any Samsung refrigerator. He said, I have to go on service calls all the time, and 99% of every call I go on is because Samsung refrigerators are breaking down. Now, here's a guy that I grew up with that I trust, who's giving me his honest advice of, he's got nothing to gain by this. He's got no dog in the fight. Matter of fact, if he wanted to make $1, he'd say, hey, go out and buy a Samsung, man. If you have any problems, you just call me. But he didn't do that. Jerry Jolly, stand-up guy. He said, hey, listen, my advice, don't buy that product. They just make a crappy product right now. And, you know, that's how things go. Every now and then, people make a crappy product. And apparently Samsung decided they want to start making refrigerators. And apparently they're not making great ones. Now, I will tell you this. When we went to Lowe's today, they're pretty refrigerators. My wife was in love with the Samsungs. She was like, oh, these look so pretty. I was like, yeah, that's what they're supposed to look like. Pretty. But there's a lesson to be learned there. Even if something's pretty on the outside, it could mean it's junk on the inside. The same is true with people. The same is true with cars. The same is true with anything else. Refrigerators, you name it. I go with a recommendation of somebody I trust, and I wanted to pass along that information to you guys so that you know some good information. You know, that's what all this is about. Sharing is caring, right? I'm sharing the gospel of Jerry Jolly's knowledge of Samsung refrigerators. So there you go. We did buy a Whirlpool. Right now there's people out there that have other products going, oh my God, I can't believe you bought a Whirlpool. Yeah, okay. Good. Good for you. Good for you. You know what? That's just okay. I'm amazed at people that have opinions about things, especially products, and they seem like they're somehow married to the thing, like it really matters that much. I guess everybody has to have something to talk about. Team Red, Team Blue, Team Apple, Team Samsung, Team whatever, Galaxy, Team Coke, Team Pepsi. My team's better than your team. Boo, boo, boo on you. I don't know. I don't get it. But anywho, election's coming up for South Carolina on Tuesday. We have an election. And it's time to do my civic duty. I will be working out of town, but don't think I won't be dragging that dude all over the place to get back here so that I can vote. And everybody else listening to this should vote too, because almost every election we have, only a third of the population votes. Think about that. Only a third vote. I think I'm going to do a voting podcast next time where I just talk about voting, and I talk about what an impact we can make if we all decided not to just check red or blue boxes, but we decided to actually vote independent or vote libertarian. What if you actually got to vote that you didn't want the government involved in your decisions? What if you got to vote for the fact that you didn't want somebody else dictating what you had to have an opinion on just because you voted party lines? What if you were a free-thinking individual? Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? Right now, 70% of the registered voters are registered as independent. They're not Republican, they're not Democrat, because everybody else is sick and tired of people telling them how to do things also. And we could change things. We could all make a difference. Let that sink in for a while. Give you some stuff to think about. Some food for thought. So what have we learned, kids? Let me reset my little camera here. There, and we're back. So what have we learned, kids? We've learned that Disney's awesome. Walt passed away before he could see his dream come to life in Disney World. But his brother Roy saw it through because Roy was loyal. And Roy never wanted to be in the spotlight. And on our behind the scenes tour, we realized that on the opening day, Roy was extremely punctual, even with the completion of Disney World, and the opening day of Disney World. There was supposed to be a speech opening day. He was supposed to give the speech because he realized Walt would have done it, and Walt's not here, so it has to be me. And he didn't want the spotlight. He was not a public speaker. And apparently he was supposed to open the park at like 2 o'clock. They had dignitaries there. They had all kind of famous people there. Newspapers, television crews. He got up on stage around 2, and everybody thought that at 2 o'clock he would kick it off. And at 2 o'clock, he's looking at his watch, and he apparently had whispered to somebody on the stage, and they had run off. And at 2:01, they're still looking at him like, wait, what are you doing? And he's still looking at his watch, and he's looking at the crowd, and he's looking at his watch, and he's looking at the crowd. And at 2:02, someone in a Mickey Mouse costume comes up and stands next to him, and he took the stage, and he gave his speech. And one of the things he said was that I'm paraphrasing here, obviously, because this was a tour that we were on, and the lady told us this, and I'm passing it along to you through my memory, which is shady at best, okay? So just deal with it. Anyway, she said Walt would have given this speech, and Walt would have loved this, and if I had to do this, I'd want to do it with him next to me. And since he's not here, I decided that Mickey should be here, because without Walt there is no Mickey, and without Mickey there is no Walt. They are the same. Very touching moment, right? Now go look up the thing for real on the internet, find the actual speech. You'll be like, wow, oh, that's so touching. It is touching. It's a touching moment. It's interesting that a guy could have a dream like that, and through all the obstacles, make it happen. And not only make it happen, but make it shine. It doesn't matter that it was 2000 or back in 1971 or it's 2018. When you go there, you're having a magical experience. You're on vacation. And they do it better than anybody else. So, thank you, Walt. Thank you, Roy. Thank you to my wife who planned all this, every little stitch of it. I mean, drove herself crazy with scheduling when to eat and when to watch fireworks and when to ride this ride and when to schedule fast passes and when to eat and when... I couldn't do any of this without her. So, honey, if you're listening to this, I love you. Thank you. And to you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this. I appreciate every one of you. So, I'm going to wrap this up one last little bit, just because I know some people are actually paying attention. Today is November 3rd. It is my sister's birthday, Tristina Whitney Peak. Happy birthday, Tristina. I've lost your contact information. I don't know how to get in touch with you, but I love you. And I know you're trying to figure out who you're supposed to be right now. But I love you. And also, today's Bert Kreischer's birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. That's it. You thought I was going to get through an episode without mentioning Bert, didn't you? Ha ha! Sucker. Alright. Y'all take care. Bye now.